Let's talk about respect. So respect is something that is earned and not owed. Let's start by talking about the difference between commanding and demanding respect. So the way to get respect is to command it, not demand it. The difference between commanding and demanding respect is significant. It comes down to how respect is viewed and earned. So one is based on external validation and the other is more of an inside job. Let's unpack that. So demanding respect involves the expectation that others should respect you just because you say so, just because you exist. Now, maybe you have a position or authority that you believe should be respected, or maybe it's just a power play for you. Either way, it relies on external validation in the form of title or perceived position. Ironically, it works against you getting respect because it conveys insecurity and often comes across as arrogance. This approach is a turnoff for most people, which can result in resentment in them. Often it doesn't lead to genuine respect from them. It's you working against yourself. Now, commanding respect, on the other hand, stems from our character and actions because we are what we repeatedly do. In other words, people judge our character by our behavior, what they can actually observe. So commanding respect is about demonstrating qualities that naturally inspire respect, such as competence, trustworthiness, empathy, and humility. So let's look at the qualities that command respect and break that down some more. When it comes to commanding respect, there are 4 basic qualities that are important. As I said, competence, trustworthiness, empathy, and humility. So let's look at each one of those in turn. So competence just means you know what you're talking about. You are competent and you can do what you say you can. For example, I've been treating personality disorders for over 20 years now, and I feel confident in my ability to do that. I'm competent as a psychologist working with personality disorders. By contrast, if I tell you that I'm going to build your next house, you shouldn't trust that because I have no training in this and have never done it. Okay? Architecture, engineering, residential construction in general, not things I'm competent in. Not trained in them, haven't studied them, don't do them on a consistent basis. Next is trustworthiness, and that's about being dependable, honest, and reliable. It means you have integrity, which means doing the right thing even when no one is watching. It's about meaning what you say and saying what you mean. For example, if you say you don't have a problem with something or you're fine with it, then that needs to be true. You shouldn't say you're good with something and then turn around and behave in a way that doesn't align with what you said. So, for example, if you tell your partner that you're fine with them going on a ski trip with friends for the weekend, then you should truly be fine with it. If you're not, don't say that. You're lying to both yourself and your partner if you're not truly okay with it, but you say you are. You're being incongruent, you're not being trustworthy, you're not telling the truth. And if you're blowing up their phone while they're gone, or you harass them about going after they come back, You weren't truly fine with it. So you should have been honest about that from the jump. Share your concerns, hash it out, talk it out, but your words and actions must match. That's congruence, and that goes to trustworthiness. Next, having empathy means you're willing to put yourself in someone else's shoes and imagine what they might be thinking or feeling. This isn't about mind reading, okay? It's about just being open to the experiences of others, considering their thoughts, feelings, wants, wishes, desires, even if you've never experienced the exact same thing personally in your own life. Now, this is different from sympathy, which means you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Okay, so you understand the experience, at least from your perspective. Everyone has a different perspective, even if they walk through the same thing. It's the reason that 3 people can watch a car accident, 2 of them get PTSD, and 1 doesn't. It's all about perspective. Now, sympathy only gets you so far because your experience of an event might be vastly different from that of someone else. It's the same reason that 2 people can go through the exact same thing and have 2 totally different outcomes, reactions, responses, like I said. So it's always good to remain empathetic, even if you've had a similar experience. Because just because your experience was similar doesn't mean it was the same, doesn't mean you processed it or perceived it in the same way. Next is humility, and that means simply having a modest view of your own importance. Now let me clarify. It doesn't mean that you choke on humble pie, okay? But it means that you can set your pride aside and be open to the influence of other people, including those who give you feedback about how to improve or how to do things differently. It doesn't mean you consistently take the advice of others or do what they want, but that you're willing to consider the input of other people. This means you really listen to what they're saying and take a good look inside to see what merits there are in it, where you might be able to incorporate feedback or make changes for the better. People are more likely to respect you if you show your humanity versus trying to be perfect or act as though you have it all figured out, you have everything together, you don't make mistakes. Humility includes being patient, which means you can tolerate challenges without getting angry or upset. It also means you're not judgmental and you're willing to apologize to and forgive others when needed. Commanding respect is a sign of strong leadership and personal character, and it fosters genuine admiration and loyalty. It's based on internal qualities, and the respect is more likely to be both authentic and freely given when it's commanded. Now, by contrast, you demand respect when you want it given to you regardless of your actions. You're trying to make decisions for other people. That generally doesn't work well. You command respect when your actions lead others to just give it to you freely. You're allowing other people to make their own decisions, assessments, evaluations. Okay? Commanding respect is much more effective and sustainable than demanding respect. True respect is earned through your actions versus insisted on regardless of them. So let's look at cultivating self-respect. This is crucial because in order to command respect, you first have to respect yourself, right? That makes sense. Self-respect is a feeling of confidence in yourself. Doesn't mean you have it all figured out and you've got it all nailed down, but it's a feeling of pride that comes from valuing yourself. It's based on your beliefs about yourself, which come from your values, morals, and actions. It defines how you treat both yourself and others. And it comes from accepting yourself as you are, flaws and all, because we all have them, and loving yourself enough to forgive yourself for your mistakes. Now, in order to love yourself, you have to maintain a generally positive belief about yourself. This is tricky, okay, because unfortunately, most of our thoughts as humans are negative and repetitive. Self-respect evolves when you learn to challenge the negative thoughts brought on by triggers in your environment. You have to eliminate the noise of negativity and maintain a degree of self-love that helps you hold yourself in unconditional positive regard. No matter what, you like and respect yourself. Now, if you need help with this, you can check out my course on overcoming negative automatic thoughts. Just head over to thepsychoeducationacademy.com and you can take that course for under $15. Next, self-respect comes from being kind to yourself, including giving yourself permission to make mistakes and being gentle with yourself when you feel self-critical. We all have those times where we're self-critical. We all make mistakes. We all have failures. But you should be gentle with yourself, not engage in self-loathing and self-flagellation. If you can regard yourself positively overall, even when you mess up, you're more likely to listen to your own wants, wishes, and desires. You're more likely to respect yourself. It also helps you keep the belief that you're a person of value and worth, even when you make mistakes. Because, again, everyone makes mistakes. And we're all doing the best we can in the moment with what we have available to us in our own minds. Somebody else's perception might be different. Their idea of best might be different. But what's important is learning from our mistakes and vowing to do better going forward. To paraphrase Maya Angelou, know better, do better. Once you know better, you should feel compelled to just do better. So self-respect is also brought about when we build positive, balanced relationships. Having healthy relationships with other people creates a supportive environment where you feel heard, valued, and accepted as you are, which increases your positive feelings about yourself. A healthy relationship can encourage you to try new things and develop personally, which contributes positively to how you feel about yourself. Doing your part in the relationship feels good too, which contributes to overall positive feelings about yourself. So it's a win-win. This means that you're trustworthy and reliable. You give to the other person versus just take from them in the relationship. You also avoid gossip and you welcome feedback. You're open to the influence and ideas of other people for how you might do things differently or better. And you're encouraging and supportive to the people in relationship with you. So next, self-respect has to do with understanding and honoring your own wants, wishes, and desires. This comes from identifying your values, practicing self-care, and being assertive. Values, self-care, and assertiveness. Let's look at each of those. This is really about paying attention to yourself and what you want, being mindful or being aware of that. So knowing your values involves understanding what's important to you, including how you want to be treated and how you want to treat other people. Self-care is important because it means that you prioritize your well-being. If we don't take care of ourselves, we know good and well no one's going to do it for us. It requires a certain amount of love for yourself, enough to believe that you deserve to pursue things that bring you peace, joy, pleasure, happiness, etc. Now, being assertive means that you ask for what you want appropriately, and you set boundaries in your life when needed. Asking for what you want requires being true to and honoring yourself. And that authenticity helps you respect yourself. You're being congruent. Again, your words and actions are matching. So setting healthy boundaries in relationships allows you to prioritize your well-being, which strengthens your self-esteem, your image of yourself. It also conveys self-respect because it means that you understand where you end and the next person begins. And you're neither taking advantage of them nor allowing them to take advantage of you. Let's look at an example. So you value yourself enough to set limits when people mistreat you or a situation is unacceptable to you. Another example would be you draw lines in the sand when you're asked to be a part of something that doesn't really align with your beliefs. A third example would be saying no when you're asked to do something that you just really don't want to do for whatever reason. No is a complete sentence. That's what Anne Lamott says. You don't need to explain. No is a complete sentence. Lastly, self-respect comes from internal congruence, meaning you acknowledge the existence of both strengths and weaknesses within yourself. Thinking about what you're good at, where you're strongest, builds confidence in yourself and your abilities, which helps you believe in and respect yourself. On the other hand, being honest with yourself and acknowledging that you're not perfect, acknowledging those areas of growth, looking at areas of opportunity, requires humility. When you can humble yourself enough to recognize your challenges rather than just denying their existence and living in la la land, you're being honest with yourself, which contributes to positive feelings about yourself. You see how this all works together? So self-congruence has to do with awareness that your strengths and weaknesses can coexist. You recognize positives and negatives, strengths and weaknesses, pros and cons, however you want to put it, but you recognize that those coexist within the same person. When you can be true to yourself in this way, of course, it's easier to respect yourself. So let's look at how to command respect specifically. So think of commanding respect as attracting it versus demanding respect as expecting it. Now, let me be clear about something here, okay? We all deserve to be treated respectfully as people with certain human rights that are a function of mere existence, right? You deserve respect as a human, just existing on the planet. Beyond that, though, that's what we're talking about. Beyond that, there are ways that you should be commanding respect in your life. Respect starts with you, okay? How you see yourself, how you allow others to treat you, and how you just show up in the world. And remember, respect is earned through consistent actions and behaviors. What we consistently do defines who we are. Let's look at 6 areas of opportunity when you're trying to command respect, when you want to get better at commanding respect. First and foremost, know your worth and behave accordingly. When you understand what you bring to the table, your strengths and values, your internal confidence will convey in your outward behavior such that you project confidence and self-assurance. Along those lines, make a conscious effort to carry yourself with poise. Maintain a calm demeanor when you approach and interact with other people. Stay calm, stay chill, approach it diplomatically. Outwardly, make an effort to have good posture and make eye contact. Another thing to be mindful of is to dress appropriately and focus on a polished social and interpersonal presence. Doesn't mean you got to be dressed to the nines every time you go out, but in those arenas where you're trying to command respect, this becomes more important. You also want to communicate your expectations so there's no confusion about where you're coming from and what you want. And then stand by those expectations. Again, mean what you say what you mean. The second piece of commanding respect is to set and maintain solid boundaries. Don't allow others to waste your time or energy. Be mindful of how much access you give people to you and ensure it's reciprocated with respect. People respect those who respect their own time, energy, and values. If someone crosses a line, address it immediately. Don't let it sit there and fester. Don't brood over it and let it grow into this much bigger thing than it needs to be. People learn how to treat you based on what you tolerate. And when you know your worth, you can set boundaries that are respectful of your time and energy, including drawing a line in the sand in the face of mistreatment. And when you say no, do it without guilt or over-explaining. Again, as Anne Lamott said, no is a complete sentence. If you struggle with this, I have some help for you. You can check out my course on the who, what, why, when, and where of boundaries over at thepsychoeducationacademy.com. People take cues from how you treat yourself, so make sure you're doing that well. They're going to watch you to see how to treat you. The third rule in commanding respect is to behave in honest and ethical ways. Be a person of your word. This means you build trust in the minds of others because your words and actions match. We're back to the importance of congruence. It means you keep your promises, you meet deadlines, you follow through on your commitments, whether they are big or small. This is with your children, with your other family members, with your coworkers, with your friends, whomever. You follow through on your commitments, you meet your deadlines, you're a person of your word. You want to focus also on being on time for your obligations because that alone conveys that you respect the time of others. Now, things happen and stuff derails us, pop a tire on the freeway, whatever, but generally work on being on time because when people know they can count on you, they respect you more. You're reliable, you're dependable. It also means you take responsibility for your mistakes, you make amends where needed, and you learn from your errors rather than beat yourself up about them. That degrades self-respect. The fourth strategy in commanding respect is to be an effective communicator. So this starts with active listening, where you pay attention to others when they're talking, which demonstrates that you value their input and opinions, even if you don't agree with them. It includes being mindful of nonverbal cues you may be giving and speaking clearly and respectfully as well. You want to share your thoughts calmly and confidently. It also means you're assertive and not aggressive. Those two are very different. If passive is on one end, aggressive is on the other, assertive kind of hovers above in the middle. Speak with intention, not arrogance, and don't apologize for having standards. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Express your opinions and wants firmly, but without being snarky or hostile. Set your boundaries in a firm yet compassionate way. Again, kids, coworkers, neighbors, whomever, firm yet compassionate. Stay calm and composed under pressure or in the face of conflict. People respect those who can hold their own without losing control. How many times have you looked at someone who really kept it together in a difficult situation and you're like, wow, that's a baddie. That's amazing, right? So the fifth element of commanding respect is to increase your competence and expertise. This involves developing your skills such that you are continuously learning and improving. We grow and change and evolve until we die. Confidence comes from self-awareness, and respectable people are growing and changing for the better until they die. Otherwise, what's the point? Share your knowledge with others to help them grow as well. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't be a gatekeeper. Share that knowledge that can help other people. Be decisive without being impulsive or rash. Take the time to do your research, to make informed decisions, and then stand by them. Again, be a person of your word. You want to maintain a strong work ethic and deliver high quality work. No shamming out, okay? Own your talents, acknowledge the areas for growth, and avoid downplaying your value to make others feel comfortable. You shouldn't have to make yourself feel small so that others feel okay. The sixth crucial piece of commanding respect is to treat others with respect, right? Common sense. Be empathetic by trying to understand and acknowledge the feelings of others. Be courteous, be considerate, treat everyone with kindness, regardless of their position. No one is better or worse than anyone else. We all put our pants on one leg at a time, okay? And focus on positive interactions, avoiding negativity, blame, and gossip. Be empowering to others by inspiring, encouraging, and guiding them to success when you can. We're not on a planet of nearly 8 billion people to go it alone. Encourage other people and offer guidance if they're willing to have it. It's important to remember that respect is built over time. This is not an overnight sensation, okay? So consistency in your behavior is crucial. The more you insist on or demand respect, the less likely you are to get it. So behave in a way that attracts respect versus one that expects it. As you work on these things, remember that genuine respect comes from being true to yourself. So be authentic in your interactions. Don't try to be someone you're not. If you're consistently trying to be someone you're not, you need to hang around with other people and or get some help. And always remember that you get what you give. So make sure you give respect in order to get it. So those are all the ways to command versus demand respect. Important distinction, lots of ideas for how to command it. I want you to go out, give these a shot, give them a try, and let me know how it works for you. Have a great week.